Go surreal, and let me tell you why.
People, they change. I don't really change, man. I'ma stay the same, fam. People, they hate. I don't really care, man. I'ma let them hate.
All right, so I am a frequent guest of this bar in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's about an hour and a half away from my house, called Shakers Cigar Bar. They like to advertise here and say that they are one of America's 5 most haunted bars, according to the Huffington Post. I think that's pretty legit, if you'd say. Darren, real quick, we were talking before the show here, and you said that you were a little bit of a skeptic.
Yeah, I would consider myself on the more skeptical side of supernatural activities.
Okay.
It's not that they don't exist in my book, but I just don't know. I don't have any way of knowing, and I think there's a lot of people that grift, so it's hard for me to know.
Well, maybe I can convince you otherwise.
Maybe. I'm excited to find out.
All right. So, as I've said, I'm a frequenter of this place. Okay, maybe not that frequent, but I've been there at least 3 times, and I'm trying to go again because, it's Halloween time, but you can go whenever. It doesn't mean that you just have to go and they do stuff just for Halloween. They market this bar as a haunted bar. Every single time that I have been there, I have really enjoyed myself. The first time I was there, I went because I saw it on a show that's on Netflix. Sorry, I can't talk today. Called Dark Tourist, and I don't know if anybody has seen that show, but it's actually really interesting. It's about this guy named David who goes around to a bunch of different places in the world and does dark tourism, which means, going to places like haunted bars and going down to New Orleans and hanging out with vampires. That's a little far-fetched to me, I will say. I mean, because people think that they're vampires, and I've seen this stuff. I've seen the show, and it's just, that's a little weird to me. But hey, to each their own. But I was watching the show, and I saw he was in Milwaukee talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. And if you don't know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, maybe I can get into that at a later time. Maybe do an episode about weird things in Wisconsin, because we definitely have a few weird guys that have come out of here. But speaking of Jeffrey Dahmer, I have him on my shirt. I don't know if you can. I would stand up. See? Yep, right here. He's on my shirt. I got this at the bar that I go to, Shakers. Reason why they sell shirts with Jeffrey Dahmer's face on it is because they say that he used to hang out there sometimes. I mean, I don't doubt it. Shakers has been around since it's been around for a really long time. So here's a brief little history of Shakers. It was built on top of a cemetery. That whole district it's on 2nd Street in Milwaukee. That whole district over there used to be cemetery. So, if you go into the basement of the bar, and they told a story about how they used, like, the FBI or whoever came in and was using, like, X-ray stuff on the walls. You could just see bones, like, and skulls and stuff like that, which I think is pretty gruesome. But it also is kind of interesting that all these buildings are built upon people's graves. Kind of freaky. So that already gives you, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it already kind of gives you a leeway into it being haunted because you're building stuff on top of a cemetery. Like, I don't know. And then way back in the days of Prohibition, it actually was operated as a speakeasy and a brothel, which was under the ownership of the Capone brothers, Al Capone and his brother. Al Capone was a pretty infamous gangster down in the Chicago area and I guess around the country for all of Prohibition. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. We got to hang out where the Capones are at, or used to be at. But then, in the 1980s, I believe it was 1986, and I could be wrong, the owner, Bob, purchased Shakers and then turned it into what it is today, which is a haunted bar that does tours for like you could talk to ghosts. They have I think that is Shakers 2.0 ghost tour. They have the regular ghost tour where you just go and hear the stories. And then they have ones like the Hangman tour, which is where they talk about Jeffrey Dahmer. And then they have one called the Whoring 20s. I haven't been on that one, and I haven't been on the one about Jeffrey Dahmer because that one's outside. And I don't want to go walking around the streets of Milwaukee because Milwaukee kind of scares me. I don't know. I don't know how people feel about Milwaukee. How do you feel about Milwaukee, Darren?
I like the city of Milwaukee. Downtown is special to me because I've filmed some really cool stuff there. But it's also, I mean, I've heard interesting things about certain parts of it. But I feel like that's every city. So I like Milwaukee. I don't think it's bad. You shouldn't be too scared. I mean, I guess it depends on where you are.
Like if you're down by the rave, I think it can get a little freaky.
That's true. That's definitely true.
I've definitely had some people on the street try to stop me and my friends down by the rave. So, I don't know what they wanted, but we were like ran into the rave and, yeah, it's like every city, just stay out of the bad areas. So, I mean, Shakers isn't in a too bad of area. It's down kind of by the lakefront, kind of. You can see the U.S. Bank building, which is down by the lakefront, kind of by Summerfest over there. So I always feel safe in that area. So it's really like whatever. But anyways, let me get into maybe like the first time that I went there again, since I kind of went off topic a little bit. So I went there because of the TV show, and I took my friend Sophie with me. We were just gonna go and get some drinks, maybe get something to eat. We didn't know that they served food there, and they actually serve really good pizza and like really good Cajun food. And then we're looking at the merch table, and a lady comes up and asks if she can help us, and I recognized her from the show, and I said, "Oh, you were on Dark Tourist," and she said, "Yes, I was." Her name was Michelle. She no longer works there. She moved to Florida because I asked, and they told me she moved to Florida, and I'm sad about that. But again, good for you, Michelle, retiring and moving to Florida. Good for you. And so we go there talking to Michelle, and Michelle says, if you want to come back for the ghost tour at 10 o'clock, you can. You're more than welcome to come back, and I'll give it to you guys for half off. Normally for the 10 o'clock ghost tour, that's the Shakers 2.0 tour. It's about $30 to do it, but you pay for the experience of being able to talk to ghosts. So Sophie and I left for a little bit when we came back at 10 o'clock, and it was just me and her and Michelle, and she took us down into the basement. And I get into the basement, and I had this really, really, really eerie feeling. And I thought originally it was just because, I'm in a creepy basement. I really didn't know what the tour meant. I didn't know if it meant like, people were going to be popping out at me, kind of like a haunted house. I really didn't know what to expect. I was just like, okay, here's a tour. Because on the TV show, they only showed the Hangman tour with Jeffrey Dahmer, so the one that was outside. So that one, I didn't really know what to expect. I get down there, though, into the basement, and I start, like, feeling something, like, rubbing against my leg. And I'm looking around. There's nothing there. I thought maybe I had, like, a hair, come down, on my leg or something. I was wearing a dress. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's, like, a hair rubbing on my leg. So I just, like, kind of, like, went like that to my dress, and I still felt it. This thing was rubbing up on my leg, and as Michelle starts telling us stories about the bones in the ground where you can like see the X-ray and like go around, and she told us that one of the most frequently seen ghosts there is actually a cat that likes to rub up on people's legs, and I felt this way before she said anything, and I was kind of freaked out. I'm like, is that what I've been feeling on my leg this entire time? And she said, probably. So, I mean, I know it's a cat, but still, I felt it before she even said anything to me about a cat. So I was a little freaked out at that point. And then we move forward, move on, and we go into the back room, where they say the Capone used to like count their money and do their business and all that kind of stuff. And we get down there, and she starts to tell us about how there are two full intact human skeletons in the corner. It's insane. I forgot who exactly they think it is, because they don't have any confirmation on who it is. But they're 2 full human skeletons, and for them to kind of show you that they're there, they have 2 fake ones on top of it. But I guess the FBI came back in like the 80s, early 90s, and was using the x-ray, and they saw that there were 2 full bodies there, and instead of, you know, excavating them out of the ground and like taking all the cement out, they just left them. So those 2 men, I believe, are there, but I haven't personally talked to them. So yeah, let me get a little bit into, though, like what talking to ghosts really means. It didn't entail us using a Ouija board or any weird thing like that. Darren, have you ever heard of divining rods?
I don't think that I have. I've heard of Ouija boards, but I don't think I've heard of divining rods.
So there are these rods. You put them on your finger. They're very long. They're very skinny, and they were used back in the day to detect where water was. I don't know the magic behind it. I don't know the science behind it. I have no idea, but people have started using them to try and speak with spirits. And so we're sitting there, and Michelle, the tour guide, starts using the divining rods, and I'm like, oh my God, she's moving them herself. You know, she's doing it herself. There's no way that this is real. And then she asks us if we want to try it. And I'm like, what? You want me to talk to ghosts? But let me back up a little bit, though. She started telling a story about this guy named O'Connor, and he was a sailor. You know, back Lake Michigan's right over there, so there were ships and stuff like that. And O'Connor is he really likes women, as they like to say. So if there are women in the tour group, he normally will gravitate towards them. You know, he sees someone really pretty, he'll stand by them. Sometimes they say that people have felt him like pat their butt. He hasn't done that to me. However, when we were down there with Michelle, I was standing next to her, and she's using these divining rods. And with the divining rod, you can actually ask these spirits to point where they are at in the room. So pretend I'm Michelle, and then I'm right here. Or no, I'm gonna mirrored. So I'm right here, sorry. And then she's using these rods. And she's, O'Connor, can you point where you are in the room? These rods go all the way across Michelle, all the way across me, and are pointing like right behind my neck. This guy's standing right behind me. And, you know, at that point, I was like, oh, you know, there's a ghost breathing down my neck. That's not fun. And then you can ask like stupid questions. Like I asked like, oh, who's prettier, me or my friend Sophie? If it's me, you know, you ask him to open or close the rods. And he said it was me. So it's, you know, ghost like me. It's fine. But every single time that I have gone back to Shakers, ever since that first time, no matter where I'm standing at in the room, he's always by me. And now I can always just kind of like feel it around my shoulder. Like he's there. It's like kind of, he hasn't touched me or pat me on the butt or anything like that. But I can definitely feel like something's like around me. Again, I don't know if it's just me being like I'm in a creepy basement, but the whole cat thing, you know, when he's rubbing up on my legs, that convinced me. It really did. But anyways, another really cool story, just really quick. So we took a break. This, you know, me and Sophie, they like, oh, go to the bathroom, get a drink. I met the owner, Bob, and Bob is just a very nice guy. He gave us a free T-shirt, which was not this one. I have 2 of these. But because it came from the show, he gave us a free T-shirt, so that was really cool. Bob is just a really cool guy. So the next floor up on, I should say the next 2 floors, I should say, up top. They were where the brothel was, and I learned a lot of things about brothels that I did not want to know about. You know, there was the A floor and there was the B floor, and on the B floor, like, all these girls would, like, share a room, like, one room. All these girls would be sleeping on the floors, the couches, and, you know, they would, you know, do it in front of everybody. It's like really, I didn't like that. I didn't like hearing that history, you know. That was kind of sad to me. But then we went up to the A floor, and they tell us the story about Molly and Patrick. And Molly was a girl from the 3rd Ward in Milwaukee who came to Shakers, which it wasn't Shakers at that point. I don't recall what it was a speakeasy brothel, so I don't even know if it had a name, you know what I mean? And she quickly became the A girl, which means that she got to stay up on the top floor all by herself, and she you know, had it a little bit better than everybody else. Only certain clients could go and see her, and you had to pay big bucks to go up there. I don't want to say big bucks, but big bucks back then was like $3. So, you know, I wish big bucks was $3 now, but whatever. So they tell us the story of Patrick, and Patrick was a frequenter of Molly's, and he unfortunately took her life. I don't want to give too much information because, like, you actually get to go there. If you actually had a chance to go there, you get to learn all these stories. But he ended up taking her life, and sometimes Patrick is there. He actually, for some reason, goes and, like, roams around, but Molly is always there on the 8th floor. They actually found her remains somewhere, I think, on the property or close by, and they gave her a proper burial, but she's still hanging around. And when we got up to the 8th floor, I just instantly felt like uneasy, and not in a bad way. I don't really know what other word to use besides uneasy, but you could definitely tell that something very grisly happened up there, and something there were definitely spirits there. And we got to talking to her, Molly, using the rods, and you know, she wishes she was still alive. She probably wouldn't be still alive, but, you know, she wishes that she wouldn't have gotten killed, and she wish she would have had a better life. And it just kind of really was sad. You really could just, like, resonate with her on how she felt. I don't know. After using the rods, though, for myself and being able to talk to all these spirits there, it definitely made me believe, especially since I was doing it myself, and I know that I was holding these rods, and these rods were just moving all on their own. I wasn't twisting anything. I didn't know how to use them. You just put them right on your finger, and they just move when you ask yes or no questions. Maybe that's not enough proof for some people, but definitely, I think definitely you should go and check it out if it's not, you know, if you're not convinced. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing. I haven't been to too many other, like, haunted places except the entire city of Chicago. But that's a whole conspiracy theory in itself, where people are like, oh, the whole city of Chicago is haunted. But I mean, look at all the weird stuff that happens in Chicago. So, or the weird stuff that has happened in Chicago. I mean, like, the whole city, like, burned down in a fire, basically, you know. And maybe a cat rubbing up on your leg isn't as convincing as, you know, it should be, but it was just this weird feeling. Have you ever like gone somewhere and you're just like, there's that gut feeling there's something isn't right? That's how it feels sometimes going to Shakers. And every single time that I go there, I just get more and more and more uneasy. I feel like there's a better word to use, because uneasy kind of makes it sound very negative, but you know, it's really just weird to explain, I guess, without people knowing what I'm talking about. But there's just some aura about that place. It's just, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Darren? Tell me what you think.
It sounds like a pretty scary place. It sounds like I mean, in a fun way, in a fun touristy way.
It's definitely touristy.
I think. I mean, I'd have to see the show. I haven't seen it, but I bet they probably see quite a bit of business from the show, and sounds like a pretty happening place where even if you're not into the ghost side of things, you could still probably have a good time. And I think
MGK just went there.
Okay, there you go.
Because he was just in Milwaukee at the rave. So
Very
MGK
cool.
just went there, and I was like, I missed it. No.
Yeah, that's very cool. No, yeah, it sounds like a place that people should check out. Obviously, I haven't been there myself, so I can't really speak on it too much, and I haven't seen the show. But it sounds, from what you're describing, it sounds like a fun place.
Yeah. What about the ghost?
I mean, ghosts are, people believe in them. I wouldn't say that I'm 100% that I don't believe in them. It's not that I don't think they're fake. I just don't know that they're.
I think you need to
real.
experience it for yourself. I think if you ever went there, I know you don't drink, but it's I think if you ever went there, you think you'd be able to understand the feeling of just being like uneasy. And I've actually had a lot of people come up to me while I've been at that bar, and they say that the more that you go there, the more that you frequent there, the more you start to notice that things happen. I feel like I'm trying to think of like what something that has happened there. I think they told me once like a picture. Oh, I remember. So they told me there's this picture that's hanging up of this little girl, and I forgot the little girl's name, but she is a haunt, of there. And there was this lady there one time who got like possessed or something. Like something just took over her body. She took this picture off the wall and ran out of the building with it. And when they finally caught her, and she said, I have no idea. I don't remember doing this. Here you go, take it back. Like she just got possessed or something. Something came over her and she just took it. Kind of weird, I think. I think that's super weird. But I don't know. I want to keep going back because people say that it's just the more that you go there, the more you experience things. I went there with my sister. Oh my God, what was it? Last month. I went there with my sister, and she used to live up north in northern Wisconsin with my dad, and that up there is this restaurant / bar called Little Bohemia, and that was a big gangster hideout, gangster hangout, John Dillinger was there, and I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Public Enemies, Darren?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. So Public Enemies, basically, it's this movie, which was a book, and Johnny Depp is in this movie. Well, they talk about John Dillinger, and he went up there, and the FBI was hot on his trail. They went up there, and they shot up this building. And in the original side of the building, there's still bullet holes in the wood, like that went through from the FBI, like shooting the place up, trying to kill this gangster guy. So my sister, since Shakers claims that they were owned by Al Capone at one point, she starts trying to talk to the ghost of Al Capone, I think it was, and she starts asking these questions about the northern Wisconsin. Like, have you ever been to, what's it called, up in our Little Bohemia up in Manitowish Waters? Cross the rods for yes, keep them open for no, and they're crossing the rods. Every single question that she was asking was very gangster related. So it had me a little bit convinced that there were other spirits there as well that she was talking to. And then the owner of the bar came up to us on our break, or maybe it was after we were done. But the bartender, not the bartender, I'm sorry, the tour guide starts talking to the owner and said, hey, this girl knew so much stuff about gangster activity up in northern Wisconsin. They want my sister to be on their YouTube channel Also, yeah, maybe I'll link that down below in the description. They do have a YouTube channel where they do talk about a little bit of everything, cooking, their history, they just promote their stuff. But Bob wants my sister to be on the YouTube channel, and I was so mad because my sister is like everybody's like favorite sister, the Hegeman sisters. And it just, I was like, I've been here 3 times and I don't get asked to do anything. But like my sister who's been here 1 time, she, it irked me to the core. Did you find it, Darren?
It did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you want to look at it?
Oh, I mean, no, it's fine. I mean, I had it right here. I was gonna give you the name of it. But yeah, if you want to check out some things before you go there, I highly recommend looking at their Shakers YouTube channel. It's called Shakers Milwaukee. Bob does some stuff. I'm looking at it right now. They promote their merch. They they have one here, the Capone A Suite. So they talk about the top floor of the brothel. They chat with some of their employees. I see one here with Marley. Marley was our tour guide, so if you ever had the chance and you get to chat with Marley was absolutely just amazing. Michelle was the best, but Michelle no longer works there, and the guy that I had for the second time that I went there was absolute ass. I don't like him. He did not do my spooky friends justice. But yeah, this stuff here, they just talk about so much. I just highly recommend it. And then if you like food, I mean, they talk about their Cajun cooking. Like we were talking before the podcast, before we started recording, and I was asking Darren what jambalaya was because they have it on their menu, because I'm on their website literally right now. And yeah, they just have so much Cajun food, which is really good, and really good pizza. If you like pizza, you're going to like it there. But my favorite food that they have there is Cajun meatballs, and that's just good. Another fun thing about Shakers Milwaukee, though, is you actually get to smoke cigars while you're there. They got grandfathered into this law, not law or whatever it is. I don't know. They were talking about it. I was like half drunk, but they were grandfathered into this because in the state of Wisconsin you can't smoke inside buildings. But because maybe it's historical or something like that, you can smoke cigars. And they have a bunch of different options. I'm kind of a baby when it comes to cigars. Like, I love to smoke them, but I only want, like, the vanilla flavored ones. I think my favorite one they had was, like, a honey vanilla, and then they have, like, a cherry vanilla. It was honey something. I don't know if it was honey vanilla, but they had the honey, and then they had the cherry vanilla, which was just to die for. And, they're also like one of the only places in the state of Wisconsin that I think serves absinthe. If you don't know what absinthe is, like this drink that makes you like hallucinate. They limit you to 3 while you're there. But my friend who I went with the second time I went there had 3, and he fell down the stairs. Oh, are you on the drinks page?
Yes, spirits.
Yeah, scroll down to the bottom there. So I don't know if you can see this, but the one on the far left, the one in the like champagne glass or whatever, that's the drink with the absinthe in it. That I don't know what they call it, but that it has absinthe in it, and it tastes like licorice. It was gross. But yeah, this place is absolutely insane. I 1000% recommend going to Shakers Milwaukee and experiencing ghosts for yourself. They're open year round. And they have the different, as I said, they have the different type of tours there. Let's see if I can tell you what they got. I see they have just the regular like daily tours at certain times. And then let's see here. They got Shakers 2.0. That's the one that I have been on. It is now $40 a person. Yikes. But oh well, worth it. Definitely worth it. That goes on Thursday through Saturdays there. That's one where you get to use the divining rods and chat with ghosts. They have the Cream City Cannibal Tour, and that one specifically is adults only. Probably because Jeffrey Dahmer his story is very gruesome, and that's who they talk about. I definitely feel like I should talk about Jeffrey Dahmer and like Ed Gein on this show. I feel like that'd be interesting. I feel like that'd be very, very, very interesting. And then the Whoring 20s. I really want to go to that one, but it's like 3:00 in the afternoon. Like, why the heck would you want to go to this ghost bar at like 3:00 in the afternoon? I feel like all the spooky stuff happens at night. So, I highly recommend, if you want to chat with ghosts, Shakers 2.0 tour, or if you just want to go on the regular and just learn the history of Shakers. They have that at different times, 6, 7, 8:30 it looks like. Fridays and Saturdays they have it, looks like, on the hour. So it's worth it. It's worth your money. But yeah. I don't know if I've convinced you that ghosts are real. I hope I did. But if you need to go experience it for yourself, tell them that Tay Hegeman sent you. I know this episode really wasn't anything sad, girl, but I thought, hey, this is a cool story of mine that I have, and that's what we're going to do. So thank you for listening. Down below, if you have a sad girl, sad boy story that you want me to read here on the show, you can send it to hegemantay@gmail.com. I have that linked down below. As well, you can also send it to my Instagram, also linked down below. I will also be putting the Shakers website and YouTube channel down there just so you can kind of see what it's about. But yeah, other than that, thanks for hanging out with me. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. There's definitely going to be more stories like this. There's going to be more chaos. There's going to be, stuff with mental health. Then I'll eventually be having guests, and everything's just going to be going up from here. And thanks for watching. My name is Tay Hegeman, and I'm the sad girl next door.
People always hit me with, hey man, you changed. People always hit me with, hey man, you changed. People always hit me with, hey man, you changed.